Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be flying on a red-eye flight on Delta's A321neo from LAX to Fort Lauderdale. I'm really excited because this is my first flight of this year, and it's been over a year since I've flown on a plane, and so I'm incredibly excited to get back up in the air. And I'm really excited to try out Delta's A321neo because for an American carrier, it looks pretty swanky.
Welcome everybody to LAX. And I am now proud to say that this is my new home airport. Yep, for those who don't know, I have moved to Los Angeles from Tampa. I actually did an entire series where I drove across the country. If you guys want to check that out, shameless plug. But now let's get back to the airport. So welcome everybody to LAX Terminal 2, which is where my flight takes off from. But I actually had to check in through Terminal 3 with Delta's check-in desk being over there. And I found it to be quite confusing because once I found the check-in desk, I found it very confusing. The labeling of when you were in Terminal 1 and 2, especially from the inside, I was complaining a lot and I was very confused. Once I reached the check-in desk though, the line was basically non-existent, and also the staff were very friendly and check-in overall was a breeze. Alright, rant here. Terminal 3 is over there, Terminal 2 is over here. There's like no distinction in terms of labeling. The Terminal 3 looks a lot more swanky than this check-in area. But like, it just says all gates. It doesn't say that that's Terminal 3 over there. It just says Terminal B on the sign. Oh, this is Terminal 2. From the top of my head, I could be wrong here. None of those doors even said Terminal 3 in Terminal 3. But thankfully, I'm pretty early. And so I'm gonna see if I can get into the Delta Sky Club because I have an Amex Platinum, but I lost that card. But I have an Apple Pay. I have that card on my Apple Pay, so we'll see. Okay, actually, where the... After I checked in, I then went through TSA, which did not take very long. Once I cleared TSA, I then made my way to the Delta Sky Club. I have access to this lounge because of my Amex Platinum card. Now, this is the Terminal 3 Sky Club. LAX, you can walk between most of the terminals, even post security. So even though my flight's gate was in Terminal 2, I had access to Terminal 3's Delta Sky Club. There is a Delta Sky Club on the second floor in Terminal 2, but it is much smaller. Speaking of the Delta Sky Club, now let's take a tour of it. Once you enter the lounge, there are escalators that take you up to the lounge itself. This is a pretty big space. It was beautiful, modern, and unfortunately had a little too many people. I know Delta has Delta One lounges now, so that will hopefully help with the capacity issues of these Delta Sky Clubs because it seems like everyone can get into this place at this point. But thankfully, it wasn't as crowded as it can be. Think of the line at JFK's Delta Sky Club 2 years ago. Yeah, that was bad. I will say though, the lounge itself is very cool. It had 2 buffet stations, which I didn't eat anything because the food selection looked pretty lackluster for me. There was, however, Starbucks coffee on tap, which is really cool, and I gotta give Delta bonus points for that, especially for the decaf at this time of the night. The lounge also has a bar with some free drinks and some that you do have to pay extra for, which you can even pay for with miles. Speaking of bars, there's actually another bar which is on this outside terrace. This lounge's outdoor terrace is amazing. You have incredible views of the apron, and there's also plenty of seating outside, and because of the LA weather, it is beautiful outside. The bar outside had the exact same menu as the inside bar, unsurprisingly. The lounge also has this TV sportsbook screen thing, private phone booths, and nice bathrooms. This lounge does have showers, which is always welcomed. And if Vicarious Voyager was reviewing this lounge, because it has a shower, it gets a 10. I did check out one of the shower rooms, even though I wasn't actually going to take one. There was a line, but I do not remember how long the waits were. But it looked very nice, and most importantly, it was very clean. After filming the whole lounge, I then got a mojito at the bar. Well, 2 actually. Hopefully this can help me sleep on this flight. The second one, I drank a little too fast because my flight was boarding soon, because I didn't want to let the free cocktail go to waste. But I'm a pretty light-headed drinker, so I was a little all over the place when I was about to board my flight. So I'm now leaving the Delta Sky Club. I'm a little tipsy, I'm not gonna lie. I am pretty sensitive to alcohol, and I had 2 mojitos, and I kind of drank the second one pretty quick because I'm like, well, it's free, gotta get my money's worth before the flight, and I'm just like I might look a little funny, but
We're gonna head to the main terminal. I'm gonna see if I can get some food, but I don't think there's that much to, oh shit, I forgot to get the cookies from the, it's fine. The cookies were pretty mid anyways, but we're gonna head to my gate down this very sterile looking hallway and gonna try to find my gate and then see if I can get something to eat before the flight because I'm starving and I know Delta's not really gonna serve any proper food on the flight in economy. So we're gonna head to my gate.
After waiting in the jet bridge for a couple of minutes, I finally boarded my aircraft. And no, I don't have the registration number, so please cry about that in the comments or just unsubscribe. Okay, so for those who have stayed, this is Delta's A321neo. It has a total of 194 seats in 3 classes, 20 in domestic first, 42 comfort plus extra legroom seats, and 132 in economy. And that's where I'll be seated today. I guess actually tonight, because you know, it's a Redeye. Okay, the cabin. It's pretty swanky with Delta's mood lighting, and that center part of the ceiling is pretty interesting looking. It gives a little bit of swankiness to the otherwise boring ceiling. And on that note, let's take a look at my seat, 28F. The legroom on this seat is pretty average at 31 inches, which is 1 inch less than Southwest, so not off to the best start. Then there's the tray table. It's a pretty standard tray table. It has a cup holder, it goes in and out, and it stows away nicely. Below that is a storage compartment that contains the safety information, as well as something that promotes Delta's Wi-Fi. What's also really nice about this storage thing is that there's actually 2 more slots in there, which is pretty good for organizing items. Next is the screen, which is I'd say pretty average. Also, I don't really like these screws above the screen. I feel like it cheapens the look and almost makes it feel like the seat's not even finished. In addition to that, you have individual air vents, which should be standard on all flights, and then also a light. Okay, on that note, let's head to Fort Lauderdale. Okay, now that we're at altitude, let's take a look at Delta's IFE system. One pro of all US legacy carriers is that they all have fantastic IFE systems, and Delta's is no exception. One thing I like about this system is that there's a feature where you can select different cities and see the layout of the airport terminal, which I think is a nice touch. There's also a buy on board menu, and it looks decent, but I usually never waste my money on these things. One of the standouts of this IFE system is the flight tracker. The 3D command view is always appreciated for us avgeeks, as well as the section where you can see all of Delta's aircraft and all of their fleet and the different specs on them. Perfect for nerding out on your flight. I really like this IFE system, and so Delta, you did a good job. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. Okay, so Delta's A321neo. What did I think? Well, imagine my American Airlines A321neo flight, but just slightly better in every way. Let's think of American Airlines as mid, and well, since Delta likes to name their cabins with a plus in it, we'll say this as mid plus. I think Delta is one of the top US carriers, but that just still doesn't mean they're the best. This flight, as I said, was pretty mid. I think I was just maybe too hyped up for Delta's A321neo with like the refreshed cabin with the new first class and that cool swanky looking ceiling that isn't actually that swanky looking in person. I don't know, I feel like I've flown Delta enough to really form my opinion about them. I've flown them domestically, I've flown them internationally on their A330neo, and legroom is average, infotainment system is great, the flight attendants are a hit or miss, but I'd say decent on this flight. I don't know. I do want to like Delta, but every thought I had on this entire flight was, it's just not JetBlue. To this day, JetBlue is my favorite US airline, and Delta just will not take that title. They're fine, they're one of the better US carriers, but are they the best? No, not even close.
It's our pleasure to welcome you to Fort Lauderdale, where the local time is 6:37 a.m. Please remain seated with your seatbelt securely fastened until the aircraft is parked, indicating the captain has turned off the seatbelt sign. That'll be your all indication that it is safe to move about the cabin and collect your items from those overhead bin compartments above you.
Welcome everyone to Fort Lauderdale's Hollywood International Airport. I didn't really get that much footage, so I'm going to now pass you on to Past Spencer, well, a more sleep-deprived Past Spencer, since I didn't get any sleep on this flight.
I was thinking about getting some Starbucks, but with that line and I have to still get my bags for the baggage claim, I'll just get something later. So this is the exit right here to the baggage claim. Okay everyone, that about does it for this video. I'm pretty tired. My dad's about to pick me up, so I'm gonna say goodbye to you guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.